screen. How about you?
Hello everyone. What does it take to develop your vocabulary? What does it take to learn a new word from scratch? Well, there's two main parts to that. The first part is learning and first understanding what a word means. And the second part is reviewing and practicing that word so that you're able to retain that word. Well, this is where my app Vocabify comes into play. Vocabify helps you learn, retain, and review new vocabulary. So now going into a little bit of myself, my name is Najib Vocabify. I'm a junior here studying computer science and minoring in engineering management. And I'm also the founder and CEO of Vocabify. So I'll go back a few years in 2019 when I started this journey of developing my vocabulary. Anytime I heard a new word, I would quickly search it and then save it in my notes app. And on my downtime, I would review these words so that I can retain and develop my vocabulary. So this worked for the first year or so, but then after a while, I noticed I had hundreds of words and this entire process became very inefficient. So I thought to myself, what if there was a way where I could quickly save, learn, and search and save a word within a matter of a few seconds? And then I thought this idea wouldn't be complete if I couldn't make the retention part quicker as well. So then I thought, what if this application could connect with a smart gadget that has a screen that'll display a word of the day based on the words that you save in the application. And this is where the Vocabify system comes into play. So now, what is the problem that we have at hand? The problem is that there's no easy way to learn and save new words. Oftentimes, people may hear a new word, they may search it, Google it, ask a friend, but there's not an easy way to really save this. And that goes into the next problem, which is there's no easy way to review and retain new words, right? So there's no way to save it, and there's no way to review words that you haven't saved. Well, the solution I've created is Vocabify system, which is a combination of a mobile application, which is the application where people can insert search words, learn what they mean, and save it in this application. And that connects with a smart gadget that has a display that will show a word of the day based on the words saved in the application. So why is this solution, or more importantly, this problem important? Well, I partnered with a PhD level researcher to better understand the psychology of learning vocabulary, and there are four main levels. The first level is recognition. You learn a new word and then you're able to recognize it. The second level is when you're able to recognize it and understand what it means. And the third level is when you're able to use a new word that you learned in your writing. And lastly, when you're able to use a new word in your spoken language. So based on the user interviews, one main thing that I found is that people on average need to engage and interact with a new word that they learn at least 15 times to be able to get to that highest level of being able to use in their spoken language. And one of the biggest pain points that we found is that the retention component of learning a word is just too difficult. It's not easy. One person mentioned that they don't have enough forms of exposure, so once they learn it, they don't see it enough times. Another person mentioned that searching a word is easy, but retention takes much more work, right? So searching a word is a quick Google search, whereas retention is you have to do more work, you have to practice and review. So another thing that we looked into as far as user interviews is we asked them a question. How interested are they in developing their vocabulary with their current processes of learning and retaining vocabulary? And the second question is we asked the same exact thing, except what if that retention component could be comparable to the learning and searching component as far as time and energy and effort? And what we found is that for everyone that had an interest level of 6 or less as far as interest level in developing vocabulary with current processes, said that they had an interest level of 9 or greater if that retention component could be as easy and as quick as the learning component. And 100% of the interviewees said that they would use Vocabify. So a little bit into the product design, I'm just going to skim through this. This is the landing page. Users are able to add or review new words. This is where users can add words to the application, and that's where users can review the words that they've saved. And this application connects with the smart gadget, as I mentioned before. You can kind of think of it as an alarm clock with a display that has scrolling text. It can go on your office desk, your dorm desk, and that'll show words every day based on your frequency level that you would like, based on the words that you've inputted. So now a little bit to the pricing strategy. The app with ads would be free. The app, users can get the app without ads for $1.99. and the smart gadget would be $24.99. And this is where all the revenue would come from ad revenue as well as the sales from the smart gadget. The go-to-market strategy consists of four main components. Firstly, developing the application and gathering data and implementing feedback in a sprint manner. And this would be to a select group of people, and then releasing the beta of the system. So that includes the application and the smart gadget to a select group of people, and doing the same thing, gathering data and improving it. And then releasing version 1 of the system, so and targeting specifically people that are actively developing their vocabulary. And then lastly, expansion, which consists of developing marketing, creating more partnerships, and scaling the business. What's next? User interviews. I plan to wrap that up in the next month or so. I'll be developing the MVP in the summer, and at the end of this year, I plan to create an LLC for the business. Few opportunities. I see a lot of potential for this business. Few examples are expanding language options. This is one major thing that interviewers have said. What if this could be used for other languages? Expanding word input methods, so maybe being able to use your camera and scan a word, or have a microphone where you could speak into the phone to add a word, and adding new endpoints. So ways for users to interact with the system, whether that's a browser extension or a PC application. Enough about the future. The time is now. It's time to revolutionize how we learn, review, and retain new vocabulary. It's time to Vocabify. Thank you.
Can I ask why did you decide to go with a separate project instead of just editing stuff like that on the phone?
Right. So one of the major things is I wanted to separate being on the phone so much. And another thing I found is that people are often stationary. So whether you're at your office desk, or you're at school, or even a kid that's in their playroom, the idea with the smart gadget is that it will separate you from your phone, and you can just have it stationary in one place so that you don't have to do any work. You don't have to pull out your phone. It stays there. Also, I was planning on looking into marketing this as a smart decor, so that people would purchase it for it being a smart decoration that also has the utility of helping you retain new vocabulary.
And just an idea, you might want to consider targeting people starting for Cherry and Jeanette, because for those it's there, like you have to use a lot of flashcards. So for them, this problem is very real. So you might want to consider targeting them first if you decide to go ahead with this.
Absolutely. And in fact, some of the interviewees that I interviewed said that they would have especially used this application when they were studying for their GREs.
So it wasn't clear to me how the solution engages the user, because often when one's trying to learn something, writing helps. Now, whether that's writing by pen or keying it in on a computer, perhaps doesn't matter. But the engagement really matters, right? And contextualization of the word also matters. So maybe you have ideas there, but that didn't come through here, right?
Yeah, so the way it works is users are able to click the application, and as soon as they hear a new word, they can type the word and it'll add the word into the system. And then later on their downtime or wherever they have the smart gadget, they'll see the word come up. Every day there's a new word that comes up based on the word that they just learned, so that helps them see and have more exposure and retain that new vocabulary.
Right, but writing a sentence with the word, as opposed to just writing the word in isolation, adds a lot to retaining.
Right. So,
which I understand is your objective.
Right. So the smart gadget actually would be able to show a number of things, like the adjective, noun, the definition, and how to use a sentence, synonyms as well. So this would be something that's considered as we're fabricating the product itself.